Hi friends, welcome back to the shop. If this is your first time here, I'm Dana, and hopefully this is not your first time here because this is part 2 of performing maintenance on the 2019 Kia Sorento, and up today we have the oil change. So we're going to cover draining and refilling the oil, changing the oil filter, and reprogramming the car to let the car know that we actually performed this maintenance. Now, before we get started, what we have done off camera is we went ahead and warmed up the engine by going for a quick test drive. It's been cooling off now for about 20 minutes. We don't want to burn ourselves, but we also don't want the oil to be really cold when we try to drain it out. Now, before we get started, it's important to note the oil viscosity that you're going to be using. We're going to be using full synthetic Castrol Edge 5W30. And that is exactly what the owner's manual states to use, and that is exactly what is on the engine oil cap as far as viscosity. We are using Castrol Edge because that is our preferred brand. A lot of you gearheads are going to have your own brand that you prefer, and y'all are going to come at me in the comments stating that there's better oils out there, and that is fine. Anything that I've learned through this experience is that every single home mechanic and professional mechanic is going to have their own preferred brand. We're going to use a Kia Genuine oil filter. Now this comes with the oil filter and filter kit gasket only. Now we ordered the oil filter, crush washer, and both of the air filters from Kia parts online. Now first up, because the Kia Sorento does not have convenient access ports to get to the oil filter or oil drain bolt, we're going to remove the entire air dam. So it's a combination of body clips and 10mm bolts. I'm just going to get down there and see what we actually still have on the car. Some of it has, been broken or lost over the years, so that's perfectly normal. If you're doing this at home, I would go ahead and order a couple extra kits, clips, just to replace the ones that you have or that are broken or missing, but let's do it the right way. We're going to remove the entire air dam. One thing that's important to note is please wear some sort of eye protection when you're crawling under the car. There's no telling what kind of road grime, crud came up, got flung up, and is about to fall into your face when you remove this air dam. So for your safety, please wear eye protection. All right, so we've removed the entire air dam, and let me give you the state of ours. We had actual 10mm bolts held in place in this location on both sides, passenger and driver, and we only had 4 other bolts held in place in that back side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing a lot of these little plastic grommets. Every single plastic body clip is missing. And the passenger side corner was actually bolted in when it should have been clipped in. All right, so right here is going to be our oil filter cover. And unlike by Hyundai, this does not have a nylon drain bolt. It is all one assembly here. That is 1 1/16 inch socket that you will use to get that off. If you follow the drain pan a little further down, on the back side of it towards the rear of the car is our oil drain bolt, and that is going to be 17mm. All right, before we pull the oil drain bolt off, let's pop the cap just so we can make sure that air enters the top as oil exits the bottom. There we go. It's hard when you're doing this on wheels because you just start rolling. All right, now that I've got it loose, I'm going to pull my bucket over here, and if yours does have a vent to allow for fluids to go into it, please pop that vent now so that air can escape and oil flows in smoothly and easily. From here, I'm going to try to come a little bit above this oil drain bolt, and remove the drain bolt so that all the oil will go in and I'll be able to hold on to the drain bolt without losing it in the mess of oil. All right, so now that I've got my oil drain bolt off and I've got my new crush washer, I want to make sure that I put my new crush washer on. This crush washer, I don't know how many times it's kind of been reused. It's pretty well stuck onto this drain bolt. And it has a much thinner profile than its brand new counterpart. And I always say it's so much easier to replace these crush washers than risk failure and losing all of your brand new oil. You know what? I can't get it off. I think it really is fused to the drain bolt. Now, we finally got the old crush washer off of the drain bolt without damaging the drain bolt. However, it almost as though this is the wrong size washer. It's been on there forever and ever and ever. It was very difficult to get off. This just further emphasizes, in my mind, seeing the little pieces of aluminum chipping off of it, the reason why you should always, always, always replace the crush washer every oil change. Don't let yours get to be this bad. Absolutely replace it, and please replace it with OEM. Make sure that it's the right part to do the right job. All right, after we've drained all the oil out of the drain bolt and we've replaced it with the new crush washer and put it on just as tight as it was when you pulled it off, not too tight, just hand tight, we're gonna take off this. This is our oil filter cover, and you can see it's even got the torque setting printed on it. So we've got our bucket underneath it just to catch any of the oil that may come out from the oil filter. Let me get this loose. I'm going to get this with the mother. I don't have the... And at some point I should be able to hand spin it, right? There we go. Now, two things to note is when you buy the OEM oil filter kit, apparently it comes with a crush washer. Kia Parts Online did not mention that on their website. I paid an extra $1.50 for an extra one. Hey, now we have a spare. The second thing is there is a O-ring or gasket here on the oil filter cup that you will be replacing. It's right on the middle of the oil filter cup, and based on the shape, we do think that this is going to be an O-ring that comes in the oil filter kit. You will be replacing it along with the oil filter medium that sits inside this cup. All right, so to replace the oil filter medium, you're just going to grab the old one and pull it straight out. With the oil filter set aside, what I'm going to do is go ahead and take one of our shop rags here and kind of try to wipe down some of the old, dirty, nasty oil from the inside of this cup. This is personal preference. You don't even have to do this. Now that our cup is a little bit cleaner, you can see that there's that center post there. That's actually going to go on the inside of our oil filter medium. So take your new oil filter and pop it in place. With the new oil filter in, what I'm going to do is replace this O-ring now. And I'm going to take a screwdriver and gently, gently, gently pry it off. I'm going to use a very fine tip screwdriver just to make sure that I don't damage it. Now, I know it's going to be hard for you to tell from the video, but the old one is definitely losing some of its little rubber elasticness to create a proper seal for this oil filter cup. The kit comes with a new gasket, O-ring. Just go ahead and replace the O-ring. It comes in the kit. All right, we have a new oil filter medium. We have a new O-ring. It's time to reinstall this. Just a reminder that we've got our torque setting printed on the oil filter cup, 35 Newton meters. All right, just checking our owner's manual here to make sure that I know the volume of oil that should go into this engine. It's quoted at 6.87 US quarts. We purchased 7 quarts of oil. I'm going to go ahead and put 5 quarts in, let it settle for 10 minutes, and check the oil dipstick before adding any additional oil. Do this, don't add all 6.87 quarts all at once, add no more than 6, and keep an eye on the oil levels to make sure you don't overfill. Beautiful golden color. All right, the final step on our oil change after we got everything buttoned up is going to be telling the car that we actually did that service interval. Now, in this 2019 Kia Sorento, that setting is actually inside the driver cluster. So from here, you're going to press on your steering wheel the icon that looks like a couple pieces of paper until you see the gear for user settings. You'll scroll down in the user settings until you find service interval and then press in on your OK button to select it. From here, you can either enable, disable, or reprogram your service interval. So I'll go ahead and enable it, and I'm going to leave the interval at 5,000 miles. And I don't even think I need to reset it because this was disabled when we started. So I'm going to leave it. I think we are good, and I'm going to go back to where we were. All right, now that your engine is topped off with oil and you're confident there are no leaks, go ahead and put your air dam back on. It's just the reverse of taking it off. Whatever bolts and clips that you actually do have, go ahead and put them back in. We hope that this video has helped you with your oil change. If it has, please smash that like button, drop us a comment below. We'd also love to hear your thoughts or any additional advice that you have for any of our home DIYers doing this maintenance. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.